Now we got something from Thomas Sowell, The Stupidity of Apologizing for Slavery. I believe that this comes from the book Dismantling America. So let's go ahead and get into it. And thank you for sending me the book. I appreciate that.
Tiger Woods doesn't owe me an apology. Nothing that he has ever done has cost me a dime nor an hour of sleep. This is not a plea to be non-judgmental. I am very judgmental about all sorts of things, including Tiger Woods' bad behavior. But that is very different from saying that he somehow owes me an apology. For all I know, my neighbors may be judgmental when I drive out of my driveway in a 15-year-old car. But they have never said anything to me about it, and I have never offered them an apology. This is not equating driving a 15-year-old car with what Tiger Woods did. But the point is that any apology he might make should be made to his family, who were hurt, not to the public, who might be disappointed in him, but not really hurt. Public apologies to people who are not owed any apology have become one of the many signs of the mushy thinking of our times. So are apologies for things that somebody else did. Among the most absurd apologies have been apologies for slavery by politicians. For one thing, slavery is not something you can apologize for, any more than you can apologize for murder. If someone says to you that he murdered someone near and dear to you, what are you supposed to say? No problem, we all make mistakes? Not bloody likely. Slavery is too serious for an apology, and somebody else being a slave owner is not something for you to apologize for. When somebody who has never owned a slave apologizes for slavery to somebody who has never been a slave, then what began as mushy thinking has degenerated into theatrical absurdity, or
Yes. Yes, I agree 1000%. But there are a community of people out there who feel like an apology will fix something. I'm not one of those people who subscribe to that at all. I think that way of thinking is very, he call it mushy. I call it some sucker ASS BS. If you want to put that together, feel free, but I'm not going to say it. But I think it's pointless. It doesn't solve anything. It doesn't fix anything at all. Even the hurt, like if you are genuinely someone who walks around with that hurt on your heart for what has happened to from slavery, and you're on the oppressed side, the ones who you're the people who were enslaved, and an apology will fix it for you. You wasn't hurt, in my opinion. You wasn't hurt. An apology is not going to fix that. So it's pointless. And plus, all these people out here who feel like in order for them to make up for their ancestors' wrongs and wrong deeds and whatnot, and the best way they can do it is by apologizing. Come on, man, that's just
what
ridiculous.
began as mushy thinking has degenerated into theatrical absurdity, or, worse yet, politics.
Politics, indeed.
Slavery has existed all over the planet for thousands of years, with black, white, yellow, and other races being both slaves and enslavers. Does that mean that everybody ought to apologize to everybody else for what their ancestors did? Or are the only people who are supposed to feel guilty the ones who have money that others want to talk them out of? This craze for aimless apologies is part of a general loss of a sense of personal responsibility in our time. We are supposed to feel guilty for what other people did, but there are 1,000 cop-outs for what we ourselves did to those we did it to.
Yep, we make up 1,000 excuses for everything that we've gotten away with. 1,000. He called it 1,000 cop outs. Yes, we make up 1,000 excuses, and we have 1,000. We call them good reasons for doing what we've done, getting away with what we've gotten away with. So I honestly don't. And plus, in this whole thing of holding people accountable, people are misusing others. They say, "Oh, you want to make it? You want to make it right? Then give me money. Come on, pay for the work that my people have done. I'll pay for the work your people have done if you're still doing the work that your people were doing. Your people build a nation. Your people took care of families. Your people took care of fields and many other things. Are you still doing that? Or are you out here with this whole, you got this spoiled way of thinking, this entitlement on your shoulders, thinking that I am owed monies from the pain and suffering that my family or that my people went through. And for that I call complete BS.
Back in the 1960s, when so many
AFK.
foolish ideas flourished simply because they were new, a New York Times columnist tried to make the case that we were all somehow responsible for the assassination of President Kennedy. That was considered to be deep stuff. It made you one of the special folks when you believed that, instead of one of the rest of us poor dumb slobs who believed that the man who shot him was responsible.
He said
For
poor
more
dumb
than a
slobs.
century,
He said poor dumb slobs. Oh man, I'm see, we was thinking that the people who actually pulled the trigger were responsible. But you know what? You are better than me if you feel, like you were responsible for that. We could have saved them. I don't know how, but if that's how you want to feel, because sometimes feeling bad about something is medicine for some people. You know what I mean? If they feel bad about it, then they feel connected. And if they feel connected, publicly connected, a lot of other people can see how bad you feel about it. Then you get some brownie points or something like that. It's ridiculous, man.
who believed that the man who shot him was responsible. For more than a century, the intelligentsia have been trying to get us to focus on the root causes of crime, supposedly created by society, instead of locking up thieves or executing murderers. If some people don't have the money or the achievements of others, that too is society's fault, in the eyes of those for whom personal responsibility is an outmoded idea. Personal responsibility is a real problem for those who want to collectivize society and take away our power to make our own decisions, transferring that power to third parties like themselves, who imagine themselves so much wiser and nobler than the rest of us. Aimless apologies are just one of the incidental symptoms of an increasing loss of a sense of personal responsibility, without which a whole society is in jeopardy. The police cannot possibly maintain law and order by themselves. Millions of people can monitor their own behavior better than any third parties can. Cops can cope with that segment of society who have no sense of personal responsibility, but not if that segment becomes a large part of the whole population. Yet increasing numbers of educators and the intelligentsia seem to have devoted themselves to undermining or destroying a sense of personal responsibility and making society responsible instead.
That is absolutely the truth.
Aimless apologies are just one small symptom of this larger and more dangerous attitude.
And with that, I want to say that was another bit of information, or well, another video that just covered a whole bunch of people who believe that they're doing society well by being understanding of the people who are doing wrong on society and trying to figure out their childhood, trying to figure out their upbringing, trying to figure out if what they've done was warranted, because that's what it comes off to me as. Like, we're trying to deep dive into your past, into your head, into your heart to figure out if what you've done was warranted. Yes, we know that you killed a bunch of people. You're a mass shooter. We know that you're out there slanging drugs and killing your opposition, the people that you're beefing with that live right across the street or around the corner, because you feel like you're owed this. You're out there selling drugs and robbing people because you feel like the government did your parents dirty through slavery. I don't know, man. This is listen, white people especially, stop apologizing for slavery unless you was there. Were you there holding the whip? Were you there holding a gun? Were you there enslaving someone? Are you enslaving someone today? That's the only time you should apologize for slavery, is if you are one of them people out there trafficking humans at this particular moment. If you're trafficking people right now, then you need to apologize and turn your daggone self in. For real. because slavery is still going on today. And those are the only people that should apologize, in my opinion. And an apology, I don't even see what I'm a little, I don't know. Maybe I'm cold inside sometimes because apologies don't do anything for me. But I want to hear what you all have to say about this in the comments below. And if you have yet to hit that subscribe button, please make sure you do so on your way out the door. Once again, guys, I'm Van, and now we are all the LFR family, and I look forward to seeing you on the next video and hopefully inside the Patreon as well. You guys have been amazing. Love y'all.